It's the after talk.
After talk.
It is the after
What's
talk.
up? I'm meeting after crossroads. What's up? After crossroads.
It's the after talk, y'all.
It's the after talk.
What's up? What's up? What's up? Hello, hello, and how are you doing? Welcome to Upward and Onward Presents our Meeting at the Crossroads music series, After Talk. Now, the After Talk is where we actually get a chance to go back a little bit and focus in on some of the interviews that we had earlier in the year with some of the artists. So sit back, relax, snap on the seatbelt, do whatever you got to do, grab some popcorn because we're about to get nitty gritty and get a little bit around the edges of things, if you know what I mean.
Jason Wills is a New York-based singer, dancer, actor, and writer. Originally from Maryland, Jason moved to New York to pursue a career in the arts and has been lucky enough to perform and tour the world in productions including Dreamgirls, Madagascar Live, Smokey Joe's Cafe, and most recently the Broadway first national tour of Bronx Tale, the musical. His passion for music led him to record and release his first self-titled EP this year. The EP was released independently and is available across all major streaming platforms and includes 4 original songs written by Jason Wills. Okay, y'all, we are back for a special feature of After Talk. Now, this outside episode is called Sessions, still under the OMATC umbrella. See, if you're just tuning in, we finished our first season of After Talk, but have a few loose interviews and segments that are being featured in After Talk Sessions. Well, we've been asked to interview some artists that are working on an EP album or have just released their very own. In this case, we have the opportunity to interview a new artist on the music scene, Jason Wills, whom I've known for years, way before he became the artist he is today. So we're going to get into this. He will tell us the type of artist he is, his process, pivots, and I'm going to ask a few questions and let him speak on his story. Folks, I give you Jason Wills in Why the Hell Not? So what's up, brother?
What's up?
How's everything going?
I'm good. It's here. I'm excited. It's here.
It is here.
Finally.
It is here. I want to just welcome you to the After Talk sessions, which you will be our first person in the hot seat, so to speak, for the sessions, because we had a whole season of After Talk interviews and featurettes and situations like that for the podcast that we did. And now we're kind of doing like a side situation where we actually do private interviews that are a little bit more in depth as well as more detailed with the artist. And the artist is you, Jason Wills. So yes, the day is here. The day is here. It's time for you to have your special day in the sun. Put you in the hot seat, ask you a few questions.
I'm ready.
Now, we interviewed you before, but we interviewed you as your alter ego and some of the characters that you pull off. Because people don't know that you're not only just a singer, but you're an actor. And with being an actor, you have a lot of comedian qualities. And so you have alter egos, you have different characters that you do. And we were lucky in our Meeting at the Crossroads episode, music series, able to interview your alter ego, John Eric.
Yeah. So I'm gonna tell you, that's literally how this all came about. I'm gonna start by saying Donald Glover is a big influence to me because I want that career. Like, he's an amazing writer, comedic writer. He's starring in his own projects, his own TV shows, and he's also releasing music. That's who I want to be as an artist. And so when I did those characters initially, that was kind of my way of sneaking my music in, but doing it in a comfortable way. Like, I'm more comfortable being funny and being comedic and being an actor. That's where I live. But I've always wanted to do music. Music is such a big part of me. And so I was like, well, how can I put out these little snippets of songs, but not like put out the songs? Okay, maybe I'm gonna write an entire character around what I did. And so that was kind of my way of like dipping my toe in and getting it out there and releasing it in a comfortable way.
but it's nothing wrong with that. I mean, because sometimes we need to be able to approach certain things the way that we feel comfortable doing it, whether it's about not being judged or not being looked at, or the high expectations, whatever the situation may be. Sometimes it's all about our process and our journey. And so if that's the journey you took, I mean, it was a hell of a journey, and it was a good journey. It was funny. Marriages that you created, I mean, I thoroughly enjoyed it, and other people did too. So now, before we get started with a lot of other stuff, people don't know that we've met each other almost about 10 years ago doing the musical Madagascar, and we kept that friendship going on and on. I was just talking to my mom a few minutes ago, and I said, yeah, I'm about to do an interview with Jason. And she said, now remind me which one's Jason. I said, Little Deacon. She said, oh, Little Deacon. Because all she saw was that you called me Deke on those posts and stuff like that. And then she was like, Little Deacon. I was like, well, that's not really the idea, Mom, but sure. Yeah, Little Deacon. So, yeah, we met about 10 years ago doing Madagascar and whatnot. And through that, I knew you mostly as a dancer who was able to sing. And talk a little bit about your journey, because is that how a lot of people knew you, as an actor dancer that was able to sing, or what was
I mean, that honestly, it was kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy, really. I got into musical theater kind of late to the game, so I wanted to be a recording artist in high school, college. Like, that's what I wanted to be, was a recording artist. But I didn't think I sounded like anybody I was listening to. I didn't think I looked like anybody I was listening to. And so I kind of focused on a lot of things that I didn't have and talked myself out of it. And when I found theater, I found a place that I could kind of perform and get in there and still use some of the things that I do have, my energy, the fact that I can dance, that got me jobs. And while I didn't think I was, the best singer, I could hold my own. And so I could hide in ensembles and hide in choruses and not necessarily be out in the open. And so, theater was a way for me to perform, but still not be out there, because I didn't think that I could. I didn't think I could be out in front or anything like that. That's not true.
So I'm glad you came to the realization to say it this way. Do you think, through this horrible situation that we're going through, this pandemic and COVID-19, that this was a chance for you to be able to kind of do that pivot and delve a little bit more into music, since we have so much time of our hands as artists?
Yeah, absolutely. I keep telling people, this was the year of why the hell not, right? It's like, okay, I've been this one thing my entire career, and then most recently, I was lucky enough, I was on a Broadway national tour, the Bronx Tale Broadway national tour, and I got to perform a principal role, and that was one of the first experiences where I felt really validated in myself as a performer, as an artist. And that took a long time. I just didn't see myself in that way, and it took other people really kind of shaking me and waking that part up in me. So I think really been like, I want to come into the fully realized version of myself. It's like, I've been in my head with this my entire life, and we've seen this year, things are not promised to us. Things get taken away. We lose people. We lose our livelihood. We lose a lot of things at the drop of a hat. So it's like, why not just do what you want to do while you're able to do it? Why the hell not?
Exactly.
Yeah. So,
exactly. Now, where are you right now? You're in Maryland?
I'm down in Maryland. I'm hanging with my parents for the holidays. I was lucky enough to. Yeah, we all got tested before I drove down. Okay. And then, so I got to drive down and see my parents and my little niece and nephew. My mom takes care of every day. So. And that's where you're originally from, correct? Yeah, I'm originally from Maryland, like right outside of DC. Maryland is home, but New York is definitely home.
I got you. Now, what other things have you been up during the pandemic, other than creating this new essence of you that we're going to get really quick?
That's really it, man. I've just been trying to diversify myself and find other avenues. I don't know, we don't know when musical theater is going to come back. I don't know when I'm going to be on a stage again in that way.
Yeah.
And so I don't, as artists, you don't just stop being an artist. You don't just stop doing that. I mean, that's not, I don't know. I've never felt that way. I didn't feel like I could just pivot to something else. So I was finding things within, within the arts to still to be able to still create and to express myself creatively. Yeah. And I felt like since I couldn't be on the stage, since I couldn't be dancing, so I wasn't in front of an audience, like, what can I do? What have I always wanted to do? What has always been in here that I want to get out? And that's, my comedic writing. That's the characters that I had in my head. And mainly this, like, I can call it a lifelong dream of fulfilling this, part of myself that was always wanted to be like a pop star. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to be, I wanted to be MJ. I wanted to be Powerline in a Disney movie. Like, I wanted to be all of those things. And that's how I saw myself, And
it doesn't mean that you need to fall back. You just need to fall into what you do.
Exactly. Exactly.
If you're falling back from anything, it's just trying to be them, you. They're gonna have to fall back from being you because only you can be good at being you. So,
and there's so many people in our business, in theater, who do release music, and I hear the music, and I'm just like, I can't sing like that. Like, I don't do that. Like, I can't do this, and it's like, but I do what I do. And this is what I have to embrace. And this is what this year has been about, is embracing that and loving that. Yeah. So, yeah.
Boom like an 808. Touch me like Zoom, I accelerate. Holding my breath when you caught my eye. I could barely keep myself alive. Recreate.
So obviously we see that you moved through music. Whether it came through dance, whether it came through acting, musical theater, up into your alter egos, comedy, everything else until now. What made you want to jump in this recording music ring? And now I know you talked further about like you wanted to do it, and the reason you didn't do it was because of this, so you kind of slid into it this way and approached it this way.
It was just, I think it was right around August. I was just, it was really kind of the dog days of, lockdown, quarantine, pandemic, month 4 or 5, whatever that was. And it was just like, okay, I'm not happy right now, like I'm creating stuff, but what am I doing? Like, what am I working towards? And I started to set goals of things that I wanted, or just tried to reconnect with like dreams and things that I'm like hoping to do. And one thing that I always do, one thing I do like clockwork, I hear a song that I like and I can see an entire performance. I feel like I pretend it's my song, like I wrote, I'm performing at award shows, I'm talking to like on talk shows, like the whole fantasy is created. And it just it got to the point where I was like, why not just create my own stuff? Like, why not just do that myself? Why not do that? Why not write my own song that I can create this music video to in the style that I want, in the feel that I want? That's another thing that I really enjoyed doing on this album. Was there's some dance stuff to it. There's some hip hop, there's some R&B, like this pop, like there's all these different genres that I've done in these 4 songs, and I felt really empowered doing it. It was like, okay, I want to do this. I wanted to make an EP. I want to make songs. I want to do an album. Okay, what style does it have to be? And it was like, it doesn't have to be anything. I just can do what I want. that was just really, I don't know, it was just really empowering. But I was tired of living inside my head. And I was like, all right, let's put this out. And I would play things here and there for people, and oh, that's nice, like this little melody. And I would hear little melodies I would write, you know. And that's another thing I missed. Voicey, I forgot to even mention this. That's a lot of how this started, was with finding these little loops and stuff on Voicey and being able to just record little hooks or melodies. That's how a lot of these songs started. And from there, finding these producers who, you know, had these beat markets and working with them and getting beats and then writing to beats, and then it just all came together. It was like, yeah.
Now, so what is the difference between the music that you started with messing around with Voicey, like the Voicey app, and what you actually have done and packaged now as your album?
So on Voicey, it's like minute-long loops of some of these tracks, right? Just a section of the track that you can kind of write to. And then I would find the user, usually the producer or the beat maker, and get in contact with them, and then find their beat market. And then on their beat markets are the full versions of most of those.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
So you pretty much just private message them and then ask them, like, hey, I really done this tune. You have the full version. And what's the process? Is it costly? Is it
You know what? It's very affordable. That's why I even jumped on it, because there's tiers that you can license their music for. So you can license this for a year, for a certain amount of streams, for this, for that, and it's affordable. And what I love about it is it allows people like me. You know, I'm not a signed artist. You know, I decided I wanted to do this, and I decided I wanted to make an album. So it helps somebody like me with, you know, meager means to, you know, find music, be able to write, and be able to still do things on my own. Which is what this album was.
Sounds like a commercial. You too at home.
You too at home. But literally, it was me in my closet, my Blue Yeti, you know, USB mic, and GarageBand, recording music and mixing and finding things. And it was trial and error, but it was, you know, this process and allowed for me to do that because it was affordable, because of how you can get in contact with these producers so easily. Like, it was really great, and a lot of them are really nice and really helpful. And if their beat wasn't in the beat market, a lot of them were comfortable, you know, making it for you and sending you something. So
how many producers you end up working with?
So I got a couple of beats from various producers, but I ended up only working with two for this album, Paul House and Tansu Beats. Okay. Who they each have 2 tracks on the album. And they were really great and really supportive when I would buy from their beat market and answer any questions I had. And I've been able to send them music and so they can hear what I've been working on. But yeah, it was a really painless process. Shout out to Mike Ruckles, my vocal coach in New York, because he was one of the first people. Yeah, he's one of the first people to tell me. I remember he said to me, and these words like hit me like a ton of bricks. He was like, "Oh no, you absolutely have a principal voice.
Okay,
you absolutely have a principal voice. You just need to
Michael's great.
Yeah, he's like, I wouldn't tell you that if I didn't believe it. And we have to, you know, there are just things that you can do to make your singing a lot easier." I almost started crying in the room because nobody had ever said that to me. Nobody had ever viewed me in that way. And I never viewed my voice in that way. I was like, I can't be in the front. That's not the sound that they want to hear. And he was like, I don't know what we're talking about. It was very matter of fact about me.
What were some of your vocal inspirations, or what artists influenced you for this album?
I would have to say, like, I mean, if I'm going, it just going song by song. Like, if I was going song by song, like, I would hear a track. Let's say, Inside, the Inside remix it's like a hip hop trap song, right? And the second the beat started, and I heard, you know, I was like, oh, I'm feeling like it's Drake, it's Lil Wayne, it's okay. And then that's who I feel like I was trying to channel when I recorded the song.
Yeah.
I'm not a rapper. I'm not a rapper by any means, but I was like, oh, I hear this. I hear the flow, I hear the vibe of the song, I hear the mood, and that is what I can tap into. Another track, Tonight, it's like this dance track. It's really like carefree and it's light, and it was giving me Michael Jackson Rock With You vibes, and that's the feel. That's the feel I wanted to give. Just this bouncy kind of carefree, happy. And so yeah, like it's just each song had somebody. There was it was The Weeknd. Like I heard a lot. I was listening to a lot of his music and heard a lot of his voice and tone in the beats that I was using.
Okay.
Yeah, Rihanna, just I don't know what it is. How can I describe it? It's like in Diamonds, her voice, the kind of trance nature of her voice. It's just that feel. Like I was trying to get that kind of groove feel like from her, but like I wanted to capture that. And the song, my first single actually, Insecure, that was one of the singles I tried to capture that mood with. But so each song had somebody's influence that I was kind of channeling.
So you didn't have no Gaga influence this time?
No, God. I
Folks, me and Jason used to go back and forth in the car about Gaga. He was like, "You are not going to talk about my Gaga. She is one of the greatest." And I was like, yeah. Until she started doing some other things, and I was like, "Damn, Jason got a point here."
Yeah. Right. Well, no, what I love about Lady Gaga is that she's theater. She's drama. She's theater. I'm that, and that's just who I am, But I think as musically, I just wasn't. I was surprised too, because what I ended up writing to and the beats that I ended up going with is just not what I had expected at all. But it's just where it took me, and when I heard it, and how easily the lyrics flowed out, how easily the melodies flow out of me, like. That's just, it's just kind of what happened. But don't count it out. There might be a pop, dance,
or remix version or something.
I mean, maybe I might be in a costume. I might actually be Powerline from a Disney movie, a Goofy movie.
Yeah, because we were talking about that even when you were when we were interviewing you by John Eric. But since I brought that up, and you talked about Powerline, and I'm talking about John Eric. Are any of those songs you did as the alter ego John Eric going to make any appearances in this album?
Yes, okay. Actually. So Insecure were all John Eric tracks, and then all of it was also a John Eric track, but I reworked it completely. It sounds completely different.
Gotcha.
The lyrics are the same, but it sounds nothing.
It's a whole nother vibe. I got you.
Yeah.
But hey, that's music. That's what we do as artists,
Yeah.
So how many songs are going to be on the album?
So this EP has four tracks.
Okay.
I released the first single back in November 20th.
Okay.
Insecure. So thank you everyone who has been streaming. I appreciate you.
Yeah, man. Shameless plug, get down with it.
Yeah, thank you. Already on Spotify.
Come on now. Come with it. Across
all music platforms, not just exclusively Spotify, at Blue Ranger 83. So yeah, this is exciting. It's, I'm excited, man. I'm ready for it to like drop. I'm ready for everybody to hear it. I feel like I've been teasing stuff and I've been kind of jumping back in, jumping out, jumping in for so long that it's like, all right, let's do it. Let's get it. Let's go.
Now, you say you've been jumping in, jumping out for so long, kind of tease people with stuff. What was the process like? How long did it take,
Well, the actual
journey with that?
Yeah, the actual recording process was a few months. So I didn't put any, I try not to put any pressure on myself, but I mean, I would wake up in the morning, I'd feel inspired, and I'd start recording. And sometimes it'd be hours. A lot of times it was late night. Like I would start at like midnight, and then I would be up recording till like 3 o'clock in the morning.
I'm gonna say it again. We're Sagittarius. We are creatures of the night. So it's like we do our best work when everybody else is
asleep. Yes. I would be up and I mean fully wired at 3 o'clock in the morning, writing lyrics, trying harmonies, trying this, and so that's pretty much what it was. It was me in my room, in my closet, Mike in the closet amongst my clothes.
Not in the closet again. We ain't doing that, oh.
Never. But I there was no. First of all, in the pandemic, I'm not really going to anybody's studio at the moment. I couldn't really do that. But I did have some means to get a mic. I had some means to, create this little space for myself. And that's what I did. That's another reason why this means so much to me. Is because, I did this in my room. I recorded these songs that do, that have meaning to me. In my room, in my space, and now I get to share them with people. Not just my roommate, who has been so gracious enough to listen to everything that I do.
I'm glad they like it, because otherwise that would be like, damn, this dude.
Right?
What in the hell?
What is going on? But yeah.
That's cool.
So
well, let's talk a little bit about the art and the album cover, that type of vibe. What it symbolizes to you, what's the meaning of it for you?
Okay, yeah. Well, I mean, I wanted to do something, so I, again, was just trying to find something that would show what I was feeling, and what I wanted to show was my duality, the duality that I feel like I live in sometimes.
Okay.
There's the face that I, who I was, most of my life, the kind of mute version of myself that has slowly been kind of broken away over the years. That muted version has kind of been, pushed to the side over the years, thankfully. But inside, I've always felt like this, glittery, loud, just out there kind of person. I've always felt like that. I've always felt energetic and loud and this and personality. And throughout the years, that just kind of, when you're different, it just kind of, it kind of gets not beat out of you. I hate to use that imagery.
Yeah, I get you.
It kind of gets, knocked out of you a bit as survival. And that's what I did to survive. And, growing up and being closeted was, it made me close all that off. It made me hide all of that.
Yeah.
And so I wanted this album cover to show, there's this one face that's there, but inside it's this just loud, sparkly, glittery, colorful
That's just
person.
Waiting to express
just waiting. Just waiting to express myself. I'm ready to be out there and to live loud. And why not? Like, why couldn't I do an album with different genres, or and just meander and do what I want, and whatever inspires me? I kind of dig that way more than I don't want to say limiting myself, because I don't think it's limiting to know what you love and what you do, but I don't want to only just do one genre. I prefer to use them all if I can. If I'm inspired by it, I want to use it. I love so many different types of music that it makes sense to me to want to record in any different type, and not feel like I only can be one thing.
Understood.
Especially as a Black artist, you know what I'm saying? It's like, are you a hip hop artist? Are you a rapper? Are you an R&B singer? Like, what are you?
Like, it's like in one area, you're like, oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got you.
And we're not allowed to move genres like that. They don't, for whatever reason. And it's
so
like,
crazy. It's like,
it's crazy.
I'm not going to be in the same mood all the time,
Right. Beyonce had a whole country song, and that song was amazing. What is it? Daddy Issues or Dad? I think it was on Lemonade, but it was I think it was Daddy Issues.
Okay.
And it was a whole country song that the Dixie Chicks covered too, and it was like they refused to let it on the country, the country charts. Like the CMAs were through that she was performing there. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's like, why can't we? She's from Houston. Yeah. She has country roots.
They just don't want us to have everything. They're like, no, you can only have one thing. I mean,
yeah, it's like
I don't just mean us as blacks. That is the story a lot of the time. But I just mean us as artists. They like to pigeonhole us in certain areas. It's like, no.
What exactly? They need to know what you are. Absolutely.
Like, you don't need to just listen. If you like it, you like it. Don't worry about it.
I was gonna say that's why I like to move through different genres, because it's like, why not? I would rather not be, constrained to one thing or being told I have to do this, because I'm gonna tell you, I'm not, well, I'm gonna stop saying everything that I'm not. I'm gonna stop doing that because I've been trying not to do that.
I hear that.
You know what I'm saying? Like I am what I am, and what I am is all of those things.
I am what I am.
And what I am.
So you're really enjoying this ride with being in this new arena, I would say. And I say that you have never been singing. You've always sang, but I mean, this recording arena, having an EP, having an album, having the artist release, all this kind of stuff, being that type of artist, you're really having a ball doing that.
Oh yeah, man. It's just been like, it sounds cliche to say, but it really is a dream come true. It's like, I'm really fulfilling a dream that I've always wanted to do. It's something I've always had, and I've always thought that I needed other people to help me do it, or to allow me to do it, or give me permission to do it. And it's like, I don't need anybody's permission to be myself.
No, you don't. Because it's you. It's
because it's me. This is what I want to do. I don't.
To be me.
Yeah. Okay. That's exactly. It's like I don't.
Like, what the hell is this?
Yeah. So I don't need.
That happens so much. It's just in our world of politics and government. It's like we have to ask permission.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta give you money that I earned. Like, how does that work? But man, it's been such a pleasure, man. Interviewing you and talking to you and to know this process, because like I said, I've known you for about 10 years now, and it's so wonderful to hear your journey and to actually be able to visualize it and see it through your words. And I'm just so proud of you with the different steps that you made. Not that one step is bigger than the other, it's just another avenue. And I'm glad. I mean, like I said, it's always crazy to say that out of this negative situation, something wonderfully positive has come out of it for a lot of us to be able to create and be productive and proactive and not be in the slump that a lot of artists and a lot of people are in. A lot of people are in depression right now. A lot of people just really doubting themselves, and the pivot in their career is not as easy as it is for others. And I know a lot of people were checking on me in the beginning, and like, man, you all right? Because I know you're so used to moving around. I'm like, I'm actually fine. I just started delving into some other things. I started doing that stuff and the interview stuff, and I was like, as long as I'm busy, I'm cool. But if I have nothing to do, then you need to check on me. For sure, you definitely need to check on me. Well, Jason Wills, man, it has been a pleasure, never a chore.
Thank you.
I'm wishing you the best of success on this journey. Live it up, turn it loose, living your life, have fun, live, laugh, love, and keep entertaining the people, man.
All right. Thank you, my brother. I really appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Well, on behalf of Upward and Onward Productions, we'd like to thank you for hanging out for our meeting at the Crossroads, After Talk. Now, your attention and time is much appreciated, and we look forward to having you checking in for more later on. Remember, success is only an arm's length away. Stay safe, stay home if you can, and if not, keep practicing social distance with a healthy and cautious way of life. Upward and Onward, folks.
After Talk. What's the haps? What's the scoop?
What's going on? After talk. It's the after talk.